Want to know how to torture a cancer patient who's struggling to eat? Give them a nice, fresh, fibrous salad. I know, sounds weird. But the first time I realized healthy eating could feel like swallowing glass shards was on my birthday in 2014. We were out for a dinner party. We're celebrating, and I had just eaten a bowl of salad that looked amazing. It had nice bright greens, crisp, colorful vegetables, lots of mixed proteins. The kind of thing that people post online with captions about nourishing their soul. I enjoyed it immensely, and within minutes after I'd finished, it felt like those greens had turned into tiny pieces of a broken wine glass that were scraping their way through my gut. That's the part nobody warns you about. Welcome to my Sippable Solution Support Show. I'm Dannie Cade, a cancer survivor since 2012. When your digestive system is irritated, inflamed, or just plain overwhelmed, the foods that look the cleanest can hit the hardest. Raw vegetables, whole grains, nuts, seeds, beans, anything with rough edges or tough fibers can feel like they're dragging sandpaper across an already sensitive lining. Meanwhile, the foods that, people side eye, the ones, they think you should avoid, the foods, that people assume are gut bombs, are actually easier on our gut than an innocent little salad would be. They go down smoother simply because they don't demand as much from our body. I learned that the hard way. And I kept trying to do everything right by eating the foods that everybody, encourages, salads, raw veggies, whole grains, beans, nuts, and every time my gut reacted like I'd swallowed broken razor blades. Severe cramping, nausea, pressure, bloating that made me feel like I was expanding from the inside out. And it didn't make any sense for the longest time. I mean, these were the foods that are supposed to help me, but when our gut is irritated, the rules change. And eventually I figured that connection out. Raw cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage were some of the worst for me. They're healthy, absolutely. They're packed with nutrients, but they're also tough and they ferment quickly. Nuts and seeds, which we love to call healthy fats, they felt like gravel moving through a narrow pipe. Popcorn, that was another really unpleasant surprise. Light, airy, harmless? Nope. The whole scrape, the fibers expanded, and the whole thing left me wondering why I ever thought that was a good idea in the first place. Even whole grains, the ones with the intact husks that are supposed to keep you regular, that sat in my stomach like wet cement. Beans and lentils, yeah, they're full of protein and fiber, but they ferment so fast that the pressure builds up, even while you're trying to eat. Onions and garlic, I totally love those. They're so delicious, but they also turned into little fermentation engines that made everything worse. But here's the part that started to make sense. There were foods that were gentler. Not perfect, but gentler. Foods that didn't scrape, didn't explode, didn't leave me curled up waiting for the pain to pass. Things like well-cooked vegetables instead of raw, soft textures instead of rough ones, well-cooked carrots, peeled sweet potatoes, yams, smooth soups, broths, soft proteins, and gentle grains that didn't fight back. And I found that eating smaller portions more frequently also helped. Eating just a little at a time meant I wasn't overwhelming my system, and for a while that worked really well. I could find things that my body tolerated that helped me get a little energy in, a little strength, a little stability. It wasn't ideal, but it was something. And when you're dealing with a sensitive gut, something can feel like a major victory. But eventually, even those gentler foods started turning on me. The list of things that I could eat without pain got shorter, while the list of things that caused problems got longer. That's when I realized I needed a different approach. I couldn't keep forcing myself to eat foods that look good on paper but only make me feel worse. I had to pay attention to what actually worked for me, not what the usual advice said I should be eating. And that's why I created my guide. Nobody told me that the foods I thought were safe might be the ones that are going to actually hurt me the most. Nobody explained why certain foods were easier to digest when everything else felt like swallowing a scrapyard. And nobody but my natural path gave me a way to work around it when my options started disappearing. If you're in that place, if foods that look healthy are the ones causing the most trouble, even if the gentler foods are starting to turn on you, my guide walks through what helped me get nourishment in when nothing else worked. And it's not about what we think we know, it's about finding what our body can handle and building from there. So if eating has turned into an absolute nightmare, see, even the word trips me up, for you or someone you love, drop the word help and I'll get the guide to you. And please remember to follow me at Sippable Solutions so that I can see your comments and respond. I hope this was helpful for you. If there was something good that was, of worth to you, do me a favor, hit the like, subscribe, or whatever fancy button happens to be available to you. And drop me a number 7 if there was just one thing that you got of value from this little show. Thanks, everyone. Make it a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.